All right, so we're back for another deep dive, and today we're tackling something that I think a lot of people are curious about, but maybe a little intimidated by: crypto investing.
Definitely a hot topic, and there's a lot to unpack.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's why we've got you here, to
Yeah.
help us make sense of it all. We're actually basing this deep dive on a document we found simply titled Metin Yapıştırıldı.
Interesting title.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it basically lays out a bunch of different investment strategies. And the goal today, for all of you listening, is to walk away feeling like you understand at least the basics of how people approach putting their money into crypto. Sound good?
Absolutely. Let's demystify crypto investing.
Okay, so the first thing that Metin Yapıştırıldı jumps into is short-term strategies. And honestly, just reading through these descriptions, it feels a little bit like that scene in a movie where they show the trading floor, you know?
That fast-paced, high energy.
Yeah. Like everything's happening so quickly. They mentioned day trading, for example, where you're buying and selling within a single day, just trying to make tiny profits off those little price swings.
Right, and it's all about timing and reading the market signals correctly. You need to be pretty tuned in to make that work.
Then they talk about swing trading, which sounds a little bit more, I don't know, manageable maybe.
Potentially, yeah. Instead of focusing on those minute-by-minute changes, swing traders are looking at price trends over a few days or maybe even weeks. They're riding those medium-term waves.
Okay, so there's a little more breathing room there. But then there's another strategy that Metin Yapıştırıldı calls scalping. And to be honest, this one just sounds completely wild to me.
It's definitely the most intense of the short-term strategies.
You're talking about making trades in minutes, right? Trying to grab tiny profits from, like, almost imperceptible price changes.
Yeah, scalpers are all about volume. They're making a lot of trades, hoping that all those tiny profits add up to something significant. It's not for the faint of heart.
Absolutely not. And to make things even more complex, Metin Yapıştırıldı throws in all these technical analysis tools. You know, RSI, MESID, Bollinger Bands. It's a whole other language.
These are tools that traders use to analyze market data and try to predict future price movements. They can get pretty complicated, but they're essential for anyone serious about short-term trading.
Okay, so let's break it down a little bit. Can you give us a super simplified explanation of one of these tools? Like, how about the RSI?
Sure. So the RSI stands for Relative Strength Index, and it's essentially an oscillator that measures the magnitude of recent price changes to evaluate overbought or oversold conditions in the price of a stock or other asset.
So it's basically trying to tell you whether a crypto is, like, overvalued or undervalued at any given moment.
Exactly. A high RSI might suggest that the price is due for a correction downwards, while a low RSI could indicate a buying opportunity because it may be poised to go up.
Interesting. So it's a way of, like, gauging market sentiment. Okay, what about those Bollinger Bands?
Bollinger Bands are kind of like a visual representation of volatility. They create a band around the price chart, and when the price bands narrow, it suggests that a period of low volatility is ending. A potential breakout, either up or down, could be on the horizon.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get the picture, but it definitely sounds like to really be successful at any of these short-term strategies, you need a certain level of expertise.
For sure. And a high risk tolerance.
Exactly. Which is why Metin Yapıştırıldı spends a lot of time talking about long-term strategies as well, specifically the idea of HODLing.
Right. HODL. It actually started as a typo online, believe it or not, but it's become this like mantra for long-term crypto investors.
Basically, buy and hold no matter what.
Pretty much. It's about having faith in the fundamental value of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin or Ethereum, believing that they'll ultimately go up in value over time.
So it's a much more passive approach.
Yeah.
Less screen time, less stress.
Definitely less stressful than trying to time the market perfectly. But it's important to remember that even long-term investments aren't completely risk-free.
I mean, nothing is, right?
Exactly. Macroeconomic factors, regulatory changes, even just new technologies emerging, all of these things can impact the value of cryptocurrencies over time.
Okay, so it sounds like the key with HODLing is to, first of all, really believe in the crypto you're investing in. And then just be prepared to, like, ride out the inevitable ups and downs that come with the market.
Yeah, patience is key. It's a long game.
So we've got these two very distinct approaches: fast-paced, short-term trading, and then the more zen, long-term HODLing. But how do you even begin to decide which path is right for you?
Well, Metin Yapıştırıldı suggests that it really comes down to understanding yourself and your goals as an investor. And they highlight a few key questions to ask yourself. So first off, what are your financial goals? Are you looking for quick profits, or are you aiming for something more like long-term wealth accumulation?
I mean, I think that's a pretty fundamental question to ask yourself with any type of investment.
Absolutely. And then there's your risk tolerance. How comfortable are you with the idea of potentially losing money? Short-term trading is inherently riskier. It's a roller coaster. HODling is more like a slow and steady climb.
It also seems like the amount of time and knowledge you have to dedicate to this would play a big role. Short-term trading sounds like a full-time job almost.
It can be, for sure. There's a lot of research and analysis involved and constant monitoring of the market. Whereas with long-term investing, a lot of the work happens up front.
Like choosing those cryptos you believe in and then, uh, just letting them do their thing over time.
Exactly. So yeah, time commitment, knowledge level, all of that factors in as well.
Now, there's one more idea that Methenio mentions that I found really interesting, and that's the idea of a hybrid approach.
Oh yeah, that's a popular strategy as well.
Can you tell us a little bit more about how that works?
Sure. So the hybrid approach is all about finding that balance between the two extremes we've been talking about. You might allocate, say, 70% of your portfolio to long-term holdings and cryptocurrencies that you think have strong fundamentals.
Like Bitcoin, Ethereum.
Right. And then the other 30% you might use for shorter term trades where you're trying to capitalize on market movements and maybe generate some quicker profits.
You're diversifying your approach, getting the best of both worlds.
Exactly. And you're managing your risk. You're not putting all your eggs in one basket.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so I think we've covered a lot of ground here. Whether you're a crypto day trader constantly glued to the charts, or you're a patient HO dealer just trusting in the long-term potential of crypto, the key takeaway is that there are a lot of different ways to approach this.
Absolutely. And the most important thing is to find the approach that aligns best with your individual goals, risk tolerance, and lifestyle.
Well said. And for those of you listening, we'd love to hear from you. What approach to crypto investing resonates most with you? What excites you most about the potential of cryptocurrency? Let us know. And we'll be back soon with another deep dive.
Until next time.